been 6 years. What the hell happened since then? I'm gonna get right into that. For those who don't know me, my name is Brandon Grubbs. I do go by Absolute HDD in the Smash community and the speedrun community. I do stream over my speedruns over to twitch.tv/Absolute HDD. So if you ever get interested in that, I do stream there sometimes on my runs. I speedrun Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I also speedrun Improves New Groove and Ed and Any Misadventures. But besides that, I do want to get on to the point is what happened within the 6 years I have been gone. A lot of personal shit has happened in my life that was very unfortunate. Some of it being fortunate, some of it being a blessing. Back in 2015, me and my mother moved out of my very abusive and drug addict father's house with my current stepfather, who now my mother is remarried in 2017, and we moved over about 45 minutes away from where I used to live, at least about 45 minutes to an hour, and we lived there for about a good year. It was definitely a way better living environment. I was finally happy, and I was happy that my mother was no longer in that situation, and that I would not have to worry about what would happen to her while I'm gone. So, but skip over to 2016. After my 19th birthday, about a week or two after, I lost my brother. He was shot and killed. His life was taken. And it's a big part of why I did not want to make any more covers or go on with the channel. There's just so much that was going on in my head. Ever since then, I've been suffering from major depression, anxiety over it, a lot of bad thoughts that I'm still dealing with to this day. It's been a really big struggle. If it wasn't for my mother and my family, I don't know. They're my rock. They've always been there for me ever since. And it got into a big altercation between me and my father on the day of my brother's funeral, where he did not want to attend, and we got into it about a certain new family member in our lives that was put in my brother's obituary that he did not agree with, and tried fighting me on the day of my brother's funeral. Funny enough, the same guy who only puts his hands on women and children and is too much of a low-life piece of shit to not actually fight a man. Because once he did that, I got into his face and he backed down, just like the coward he is. So now he's dying alone in that house that I grew up in, that I started my channel up in with the music of my passion. And it pretty much 2016 just destroyed my passion of pretty much anything. And then after that, we moved out of the house that we moved into. We moved back into the city that I was born and raised in, and I was able to meet friends I haven't seen in a long time, and luckily was able to find a couple of friends that I would call not only my best friends, but also my family, who's also been helping me recently and throughout my struggles, and always being there for me, even when I was going through a hard period and a hard time in my life. Pretty much after 2016 through 2017 and to now, I've been struggling going from job to job, trying to get a sustainable income, trying to find something to where I'm not getting screwed over on money and trying to get screwed over on hours. Again, that's just been insanely constant, where it's been a toxic work environment, not enough pay, bare minimum pay, not getting paid for what I'm worth, and still dealing with that to this day. And it's been really hard, especially after going through two vehicles, where the first one I hydroplaned and wrecked my vehicle, the other one transmission failure, and a lot of really bad issues with this vehicle. It was a 1991 Ford Explorer, and I don't think an automatic is supposed to drive like a fucking manual, because just to be able to make sure it didn't overheat at all, I would have to get over a certain speed for it to go into second gear, and that's without like manually. Like, this is automatic, by the way, and if you were not to go over into the second gear, that bitch would overheat like crazy. It's insane. And now I currently drive a vehicle that now is working a hell of a lot better for me. There are some issues to where I gotta fix the cables for the battery, to where I don't have to keep popping the hood and messing with the wires just to start the truck. But other than that, the vehicle's in good condition. Other than that, I'm still trying to find a sustainable income. After the 6 years, I'm now 25 years old. So yeah, it's been a hell of a long time. I most likely look different. I gained some weight. Pretty much for most all that weight came from was stress eating and all the depression, anxiety I was going through, because I used food as a coping mechanism, and that is not the best coping mechanism you can do. If anyone that is suffering and is trying to find a way to get through tough times, whether it be a loss in the family or whether it be something going on in here like what's going on with me, it doesn't help. It just makes things worse, and you get more depressed. You start to become more, Twitch copy, like terms of service word. I think you know what I mean with mental health, and a lot of anxiety with it too. It just makes it a lot worse. It's definitely a hell of a lot worse on the body and everything. My goal is to get down to the weight I was in high school, which was about 180 to 200 pounds for my height, for being 5'10". And that's pretty much going to be where I'm slowly going to be losing the weight, and then also getting muscles to where that's going to also equal out to be 180, 200, because that's the weight I'm very comfortable with, and a very manageable weight, hell of a lot better than what I currently am, because I really don't want to stand up and show y'all what I look like now, but you can probably tell that obviously I'm looking a lot more chubbier just from what y'all see me look before. But besides the point, things are hard for me at this time, because I've recently lost my job last Sunday as I'm recording this. And it's been very difficult, because they've also cut my hours to where I was only working 2 days a week, not even 20 hours. So I'm having to now look for another job. Luckily, I'm at least able to pay off the bills I'm able to pay off, and it wasn't for the fact that I'm with my parents throughout this, I wouldn't know what I would do. And hopefully I can get to a point soon where I won't have to live with my parents anymore, and I can be able to get either my own place, or me and my best friend and his brother will get a place, an apartment, and we just split bills. That way I can be on my own feet, and my mother and my stepfather will be able to actually live out their retirement. And it's just been very hard, but we're trying our best to work through it. As far as loss of my brother, for my mother, she is the rock of this family. She really is. uh, it's been insanely hard for her, and about through all the stuff that she's had to go through. She's had to bury her son, her brother, and her mother within a 3 to 4 month span. So it was, and this was all back in 2016, and I still cannot believe it to this day that all that has transpired. But I know, but it has made her a hell of a lot stronger woman. It has made a lot of us stronger and more together. And it's definitely, we have our moments where we're very emotional. I definitely get those moments. But we try to work through it the best we can. Aside from that, I want to get back into doing covers of songs. I do want to make music again. As far as songwriting goes and doing my own stuff, I don't really have the motivation or the creativity I used to have when I was a teenager. And it's going to be very hard to try to find that drive and passion for me again, but I really want to find that passion again. My passion went from music to years down the line where COVID happened and we're on a pandemic throughout 2020. I learned and found out about this speedrun called SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. I found this out through a boundary break video with Shift, the world record holder who's been holding the record for 6 years, and who's pretty much been a rock of the B4B community and has driven to make the community a hell of a lot better and to push it to be the best that it can be. And honestly, I didn't even know about the series. It was just something that just randomly popped up on my feed on YouTube. And I was very interested seeing all the out of bounds stuff and all the stuff you can do by this disabling the hand through a taxi pad and be able to go out of bounds, and that caught my interest. And then I hopped into his stream and started watching him and all that and got more informed on the previous history, on what has happened in the past and to the present now of what the main goal is, and that is to obviously push to hit those minute barriers off, because we went from, I believe in 2021 or is it 2020, we went from having it where it was a 50-minute world record to a 49, and fast forward to this year in 2022 to having a 43 on the boards, which is insane progress for the game. I believe, if I do recall correctly, don't quote me on this, but I believe the scene has been around for at least 8 years. It's definitely been awesome to see the community grow. And I was very interested in running the game when I lost my job, where half of us got let go at my job because of the pandemic. I got more into it. The PC that I use, we have an option to where we can run it on Dolphin for submitted runs up to when you get a 55 to any percent, and that's the cutoff time. And it's a very generous cutoff time because honestly, that's about as max you can go on Dolphin anyways with all the strats that we have. And since my computer couldn't run it well, I couldn't record my first run. I didn't have an Xbox, so my first run, I did not like running on Dolphin. Using the GameCube controller on Dolphin was very weird. So I said, I got my stimulus check, fuck it. I'm buying an Xbox in the game, and I'm getting the recording equipment for it. I got my capture card. I actually bought my Xbox from a local game store. That was near me, and they didn't have BFB, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna call the one that's an hour away from me, because it's the same store. They have multiple locations, and they're like, yeah, we have one copy left. I said, all right, what time y'all close? Like, they said, oh, we close in about hour and 20 minutes. I said, okay, would you mind holding that game for me? And I literally drove all the way to there just to pick up this game for me to speedrun. And honestly, it was the best decision I have ever made. I enjoy running this game. I went from running this game officially in March to now to this day having a 5336, less than 2 years of running this game, and it's beyond mind-blowing of how much progress and how much I've improved at this game, and how fun it is to see everyone just improve at the speedrun. And ever since of the Battle for Bikini Bottom documentary, which I recommend that everyone go watch, I will put the part 1 in the description of this video, so y'all can go watch. I recommend, matter of fact, go watch it now. It's a fantastic documentary of the history of Battle for Bikini Bottom speedrunning. And there's currently only 2 parts. Parts 3 and 4 are still being worked on when they will be released. Not entirely sure. The series came out in 2020. I believe it's still being worked on to this day. It was mainly because of a lot of issues because of traveling, if I recall correctly. Again, don't quote me on that. But it's definitely going to be, as far as I'm aware, most likely will be something that will be worked on in the future. But that's up to what Shift wants to do with that. But other than that, watch the doc. It's very, very informative, and it's awesome to watch. And part 2 is honestly my favorite. Part 2 is really funny, especially if you get all the references inside of part 2 and part 1. Like, it's very enjoyable. But other than that, that's pretty much what I've been up to within these past 6 years that I have been away. It was very awkward for me to even be like, yeah, let me go ahead and record me singing this song and then upload it without any warning at all or any announcement. It's like, oh, hey, I'm back all of a sudden. But I think I'm back for the long run. I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to doing this some more. And that's pretty much it. I'll be linking my Twitter and my Discord server in the description if y'all want to join. I also, like I said, I stream on Twitch, and I'll also be putting that in the description as well. I don't stream on there frequently. I'm probably going to stream on there more frequently since I have a lot of free time with searching jobs, and mainly I'm just stuck in this house until I do get a job, which I'm pretty confident it's going to be soon, and that I'll be just fine. But other than that, it's been great being able to update everyone and catch everyone up on what the hell's been going on in my life. I appreciate everyone that has been still subbed to this channel, and the crazy part is I've looked back through all the views throughout all the old videos when I was a preteen and a teenager, and I'm just shocked at the amount of views that were on there, because I was not expecting, like, my first video have over 5,000 views when it was just a Johnny Cash cover of 309 and just a bunch of other country songs that I did that have like over hundreds of views, which I think is very cool. So I appreciate y'all for that. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I will see y'all later.